Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the weekly channeled message. This is being recorded on June the 14th, which is also the full moon energy. So we have a lot, realize everything's out of place. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of things that's happening, and there's a lot of shifting happening. You know how you just gotta, you keep trying to make yourself comfortable and you can never get comfortable. That's kind of what we've been like the past, past few years, probably your whole lives. It's like you keep trying to be comfortable and you just can't find yourself comfortable. And then all of a sudden you find this space where you can be comfortable. Well, that's what it feels like. It feels like we can find a temporary comfortable before we have to shift again and move again. But there is that sense of passion, desire that is awakening within us, that is moving us into a sense of being empowered to not be afraid to open up our minds and our hearts to the possibility that there is a new way to see things. There is a new way to coexist. There's a new way to be in self and in relationships and all things that kind of resonate and relate to who and what we are becoming. That a lot of the old ways were so programmed to us that this is how things are. This is how people have to be. This is how relationships have to be. This is how, and I mean work relationship. I mean everything, like how the relationship between a boss and an employee, all of those things. And it's like, we're finally seeing like that dismantling. So it's like the world has a massive tower moment, and that may not be what everyone is getting, but that's what I'm getting. That's the way that it is flowing through to me. I see it as if I've seen like a whole new team, a whole new troop of spirit guides, angels that are like being called in. It's like the first row came in to do the work that needed to be done for that stage. And it was around Christmas time, December, when I just seen the wise ones come in, and I'm like, I just felt like it was like the Magi just like came in, the wisdom, the wise ones. And then it was as if a shift in energy again. And now I'm seeing this shift that is like, I'm watching this, they look lighter. It feels lighter, but it's different. It's not, they don't underestimate the power of the guides and the spirits and the angels that come in to work on our behalf. And I'm like, this is a different energy. It's kind of like we can laugh at ourselves, but we also have to take ourselves serious. So we have to really, truly know that this is a time of deep communication. It is a time when we work together or we work on things in a way of saying, you know what, look back. Look at some of the things that if we can look in with an open mind, it is effing ridiculous. Like some of the things we've accepted, some of the things that's been normalized, and it's not really normal. So, this new troop feels like I just seem like coming in over the hills. I see them coming in over the trees, and I just seem like drifting in, and it's fast paced. So there's a very fast paced energy, a swift movement that is going to be taking place. So you may feel like, oh my God, I can't keep up. I feel like everything's coming. It's like, but we've been in pause, held back, that sense of slower energy for a reason. And not everybody will be going into that. So if you've put the energy and the work into healing, growing, evolving, you're going to be there and you're going to be like, poof. But if you have been that slow to answer the call, and it feels like, well, that energy, so it's like a hierarchy of who's been doing the work, who hasn't, and now there's a new level that's going to have to do the work. And so it just feels like it's like that's slower. You're going to find yourself being slowed down. It's not that you're being left behind. It's not that you're behind the game. It's who has been awakened to that level of awareness where you have the capability and the capacity within you to be able to deal with and handle the situations, to be able to see things that are hard to have to see, it's hard to have to face. We all have to face them when we are prepared and ready, when there's something inside says, so we're not so reactive and it doesn't spin us and spiral us backwards. So we do have we have this fast moving energy and we have this slower moving that seems like it's like halting us. It's like if you've been shedding tears or you've been very, distraught or very worried about everything kind of coming up, like, oh my God, it's all, well, you're going to be put into that, like putting on the brakes, halting, so that you can do the work with love. It's like your guardians just stop in front of you and just say, okay, are you done pretending? Are you done trying to do things this way, your way? Now you have to trust us. And those tower moments in our lives, they serve such a great purpose. They open up to allow light to shine in on the areas of where we need to let it shine in, where we need to let it influence us in a beautiful way so that we can be the change in our lives that we want to see or that we need to see. And there's a sense of awareness that is projecting us to, as scary as it is, to also be somewhat enthusiastic, because we've been in that kind of spiral down of depressed, anxious energy. And I'm not speaking of mental illness, I'm speaking of the energy itself. So that energy that makes you feel that way. Like, we're not here to do any diagnosis, we're not here to do that, but it's like that sense of just awareness that what feels heavy, dense, and the one-dimensional living and the three-dimensional really has a lot of dense energy. Whereas ascending into what we call the 5D energy, that fifth dimension, there's a sense of freedom, but it's unlatching, like it's being untethered from that old sense of self. So dismantling opens up the space for communication. It opens up the space for love. It opens up the space for all things that can bring about a change, like a sense of relief, that you no longer have to carry the burdens, you no longer have to carry that heavy energy, that you can actually start to free yourself, because your body is telling on you those pains, those hurts, those joints, those knees, those hips, those flexors, like those, all those things that carry, that have like tension bands attached, or all the things that are about moving forward. It's like the body is like stagnant and stuck, even if you feel like you're moving forward. Is that if the past still has that kind of control, then it's not working. So we do have the energy that's coming in that is just saying, the material world really does matter, but what is our material world? What makes up that sense of the material world that roots us and grounds us? What is of value to us? What is important to us? So family in a new way, the dynamics of family, and breaking up with some of the old paradigms of how things should be, the way things should be. So there's that sense of, if you have not yet surrendered into, you may find yourself kind of having to say, mercy, 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 I've had enough. Okay, I can't do this on my own. Because that need of the human control to believe that, that we can manipulate and dictate our energy the way that we thought we could, is that we often can't. We do get our free will, which is an amazing thing. But there is a sense of this God will that exists within us. There is a divine. So this swifter, faster moving energy is like, okay, you were being prepared to be the person that you need to be for your future. Well, here it is. Here it's looking at you. Here it's facing you. How do you want to show up in this? So I have all the cards came out in reverse. And I'm like, that's so funny. So it is a major like shake up. And I think it was last week or the week before, or no, who was I? So I just did a talk on a empath summit. And I spoke about being tipped upside down. And, that's where we are right now. It's like we're being tipped upside down by the ankles and shaken out of saying, what do you got left that you keep holding on to? What do you got left? What are you hiding from yourself? What are you hiding from the world? What are you hiding? And it's like shaking you by the ankles and this like major, like shake down, shake it out, let it fall out, let it out. And so I spoke about this and I was asked like, give us something that, can, from God. And I'm like, you keep asking for a miracle. Well, look in the mirror. You are the miracle, right? And so the miracle means you have to take action to be able to be that miracle again. And so in reverse, with all cards in reverse, I do have these, and I'm going to put them in order so that I can get them right. So I have the Six of Pentacles, and I have the Knight of Pentacles, and then I have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is coming with the peacock and that sense of pride, accomplishment. So in reverse, I just feel like it's like there was something that was saying, sometimes pride can stand in the way, and that's different than the pride that we have for a sense of knowing that we've done the right thing, that we've brought ourselves into a sense of balance and balancing out our lives. Emotional, spiritual maturity is a must to grow up that intellectual self that got stuck at early ages in life, of where other people's energy, other people's emotions became your identity, and you kind of start to walk, talk, mock, mimic, not even intentionally, that of the world of which you lived in. And so a lot of the mock, mimic energy that you don't even realize happens is even in the repeat of, you hear something and then you instantly get angry. And so, oh, well, all these people are doing this, then I'm going to be all of those people. Well, there's us that we call the black sheep that could never be those people, but we were a part of another person, right? So there's still that sense of rebellious energy that keeps you running. So it kind of is the energy that also says to, those who keep trying to be the black sheep, which is hence why I wrote More Than Existing, was that is such a narrative that we play out in our head, that, oh, nobody understands me, nobody gets me, I'm different than everybody else. No, there's a whole sector of similarities in a whole, you just probably haven't met them all yet. You're probably meeting the resistance because you're so busy looking in, so that you got a reason to be mad, you got a reason to be angry, you got a reason to keep holding on to all the grudges, all of those things. So the balance, and so the green and the image of the green, that we are in a stage of, healing, and also, healing in our material world is finally, if you've been in a sense of great loss, I feel like you're coming into the comeback years, or coming back into being able to restore, replenish. But if you're going to come back in as the person you were previously, because you've done none of the work, it's all going to crumble again. Do you want another tower moment? No. Be aware of this. And so in the middle here, kind of hiding behind is, here we have this mask. We have this masked Knight of Pentacles, and he's looking forward, but he's surrounded in his golden protection. But there's something, his face is covered. Now I feel like it's the essence of, could be a she inside there. Who knows what's inside of there? And it's like, is this just a shell? Is this the essence of truth? What is moving forward? Bring awareness to that. Bringing awareness to that bunny that is speaking up here, peeking up here, fertility, a sense of, walking into, or stepping into, going to go into, like, kind of like mining. I keep getting mining, like getting ready to go into that, of reclaiming, a sense of reclaiming, a sense of, but not reclaiming for your shadow self, reclaiming for the you originally arrived as. And this peacock and being here in this beautiful queen energy is a sense that, her pillars have these beautiful emeralds and stones. And so in the angelic realm, and working in that angelic realm and the emerald energy is, that emerald city. So if you look at, say, the Wizard of Oz, you look at those type of things, there's a lot of great messages in movies and songs, because all of those that are artistic and creative are also channeling. And I've really, truly done a lot of that work throughout my past 4 or 5 years of this journey, because everything comes up. I'm the woman in the red boots. And so this emerald city, this emerald sense of truth, of coming into this place to find and pick up, to resurrect the pieces of the soul self that got left behind. And so this beautiful transformation, this beautiful journey of, we want our peacock feathers to show us that we shouldn't have to be ashamed of who we are or hide who we are, is that we should be able to walk with that sense of confidence and knowing. And I chuckled this morning as I was like, I had this plant in my windows hanging up. It was given to me as a gift. And I'm like, that pot is too small for that plant. I have to take that pot out. And we were at the store, and I'm like, oh my God, look at that peacock figurine right there. Like, I just love that peacock. And she's like, it's almost too beautiful to put outside in the weather because its colors would fade. I'm like, but if we keep it inside and it can't be seen and it can't live, then it's going to be trapped. So maybe it's better to let its colors wear down, to let its colors fade over time, than to hide it, afraid for it to be seen. And that was my thought. And so when I seen the plant, the peacock plant, it was the same thing. It was like, that pot it's growing. So I had to take it out. And I'm like, I don't have soil. It doesn't matter. I don't have soil. It has roots. And if I put it in water, the water will keep it going until I can go get soil but it's pot bound. And I'm like, why did I need to do that right now? And that's it. That's the pace. That's right now. I need to do this right now. And so I took it out, put it in the water, put it in a bigger pot of water. And I just added another little sprig, a different little sprig in with it. And I felt like I could breathe. And it was like, oh, okay, I don't need, just because it came in that pot, just because that's the way it was, it's outgrowing that pot. And now it's time for it to grow. But it's and when I pulled out the little tag, I realized it's a peacock plant. And I'm like, hey, and it's like this peacock has been everywhere. And so, and this blues and blue jay. And so there's a lot of blue energy, which is also our ability to be able to communicate. And communicate often is in silence, is in the ability to be able to listen to what even others have to say, to open up our mind to new perspectives, to be accessible and available, to be able to be there and to be present for not just ourselves, to finally, it's like, this is not in surrender, and it is the card of the future. And of that whole future self. This is the underlying of it. And the underlying condition that is underneath is the Two of Wands and the path and the direction. So if it says, you know, this is the worn path, this is where others have gone, I'm like, I'm just going to go in between. So sometimes it's that in between. Sometimes we're like so busy looking around, trying to find our way, that we can't see. We're looking at all in a wrong perspective, that, you know, what if I tell my truth and then, you know, I lose out? But what if you tell your truth and you win? What if you tell your truth and you can grow an even better life? What if you allow the dismantling of all of the old self, and that you can live a new, beautiful life? And we always tell ourselves the stories of the things that we're going to lose, or the people that are going to not be there. But what if that's not always true? Because what if the people that are not meant to be there are not there? But what if the people that you have been waiting for your whole life to understand you, to get you, to all of those things, well, they're there. But you've been walking around and hiding in shame places with the people who are in the same energy as you, believing that that's the people that you need to connect to. But that's not always the truth. You can't stay in the swamps. You can't stay in the murkiness. You can't be in the basement and stay in the basement and stay hiding and keep telling yourself the narrative that gives you the self-sabotage stories, because you have this expectation that nobody will get it, nobody will understand, and nobody will stand by your side, or nobody will walk with you. But up here waiting for you is people who may not have the exact same story as you, but people who understand what it's like to be that old energy. So that's where the stop, the pause, and also then the fast pace, because once you align into that truth and into that, and that integrity of self, there's such a movement. And that's where we are. It's like there's a fast movement, because it's kind of like there's a whole energy of a group of us that, so we got to move, because we have to move this way and get out of the way, because so there's a new group coming up, and there's a new group coming up. So we got to go this way and work in a new plane and work in a new energy, is what they're telling me this. And so we get over here and we do this. So we're not, you know, being forgotten. We're moving forward. And there's a big difference. And so this is a lot of things that are taking place in the energy. There's a lot of shifts. There's a lot of changes. And I hope somehow this all resonates with you. And if it doesn't, listen to it again. It's like, this don't make sense. Well, that's because your thoughts are in you're in that mental body, you're looking at your physical world, but look at how you react and how you move forward based on emotions. The stories you tell yourself that hold you victim to stories, or leave you being the pleaser, the martyr, those are the emotional and spiritually immature areas that we have. And so emotional intellect, I have been working on, because that's the essence of what more than existing is. And I own the trademark of more than existing for a reason. And it's the whole essence, you know. I knew there was going to be a time when the world would start to want to more than just exist in the stories and in the paradigms. Even if you're a spiritual healer, teacher, and you get stuck in that whole, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and that's how we do things. And well, that's, you know, it's that constant ability to allow our minds to expand, our hearts, so that we move on and we move up and we grow and we evolve and we have such compassion and caring, and we can be of service to the people that need us then, that are also coming along. Every leader is a follower and every follower is a leader. And that is a truth. And so when you're ready to more than just exist, when you're ready to start to look beyond our own bullshit, our own stories we tell ourselves, and the truths, and I chuckle because I get, sometimes these messages of people not wanting to give me a truth. And I say, oh, instead of saying, I really just, you're out of my budget. It's instead of that, I'll get the passive aggressive, which, it's a patterns of behavior. And it's like, oh, you're lovely. But that's, those things are compliments, but I don't need flattery. It's that simple, beautiful fact of just being honest with yourself and honest with others. It's the fact that, what, this is where I am, this is what I have, this is where I go. And there's times in my life where I've had women courageously reach out and said, I need you now. or men, and it's like I reach out and I need something, that a class or something that I would be teaching. And you are not in my budget, you're not in my wheelhouse of affordability, but I keep hearing, reach out to you. And I have such respect for that. And even if I can't give all of that, I will make sure that I find something that can be of service to help, because there is such a strength in allowing our weaknesses to speak for us, allowing ourselves to know that our strength is discovered in that weakness, that in that sense of fragility and being vulnerable is that we discovered this innate strength that is within us, and living from that place, being in that place, and existing from that place. And that's our message for today. And as I'm ironically on the full moon, on my way to actually get an MRI as I prepare, which I didn't want to have to face, so I did everything else before, as I'm preparing for back surgery to fix the spine, which is also that tree of life, having the courage to do things for whether it's hereditary, just work related, but moving beyond having to work myself like I'm a workhorse, moving beyond having to be always on the go, that I have to be accessible, that I have to keep pushing beyond the pain. All of those things was the choices and decisions to turn and face it, and to know that there was solutions. And even sometimes modern day medicine has a purpose in our lives. And this is the only option for me to have that relief, is to open up that spine, to free the nerves. And so I'm going tonight on this full moon to dedicate it to my journey of getting a new set of MRIs, to be prepared for the surgery, having the courage to turn around and face the things that need to be done, so that I can exist in this new sense of self, of knowing that I don't want to be that woman again. I love, I honor, appreciate everything of where I've been, what I've done. And I'm not going to be master manipulator of my own energy and saying I can when I don't need to anymore. I don't have to say I can or push through. Is I'm choosing to bring in a sense of healing to the physical body, because the old physical body does not suit that new sense of ascension and awareness, and the level of self-love and self-care that I know is important. And I want you to know that through my stories, I hope little things like this inspire you to know that it's okay to stop, to turn around and face the things we need to face, to deal with the things we need to. And it's okay to cry. But it's not okay to stay in it forever. It's time to allow ourselves to stop believing that we have to live suffering and in misery, and that we can choose to make a choice to turn, face, look at, deal with, stay, there's an okay time to be down, and there's a time to rise. And we are coming into the energy where it's a time to rise again. Much love. Have a beautiful week. And if you still want to get into my Goddess Within class that I started last Sunday, there's still 3 more classes, and you can still get the recording. That starts up. That is again this Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Go to mteacademy.com and .ca, and you can sign up. Go to my website as well. All the information is down below. Please, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also have a second YouTube channel called She Is More Than Existing, and that's all podcast that you can go check out the podcast, and all of the rest of my information is on Corrie Thorne, Corrie, Thorne.com. You can check out everything right there. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.